So it was only a couple months ago that we did Xenoblade Chronicles,
After months and months of playing,
and now we're here.
do we want to be here?
With Xenoblade Chronicles X. You played this more than I did, because it's hard for me to get into JRPGs with how much we have to do.
Especially hard when it is a console game and not a handheld.
Yeah, it's a little harder. Not that much harder, but it's just like the weird thing of I have to because of all this I have to keep up with the release schedule. And with a JRPG, I just have to throw everything for 2 months on the back burner to take care of this.
Not even 2 months. It deserves a year.
Yeah. We're talking about Xenoblade Chronicles X. Paige primarily played this.
Yeah.
I kind of took a backseat to this because there was a lot that came out that I've had to take care of over the last couple months. But this was your primary doing.
I was so excited. I was really, really excited for this game. I drove back home because I pre-ordered it back home, picked it up the day it came out, came back here to play it, and then the excitement didn't last for long.
Yeah, it's weird because when I was texting you, you're like, I can't wait, this seems great, and then your text just slowly diminished in excitement. You were just like, yeah, I just got, oh god.
I think, okay, you have a larger TV than me, and this is my main, catch on it. Could you read the screen?
You know what? Yeah, I have a big TV screen that I played this on, and I was sitting there, I was like, wow, there is so much going on. It's more than going on in the first Xenoblade Chronicles. So, I was like, for how much they're trying to cram on the screen, someone with a small TV and maybe sitting far away, in this setup, that's going to be a struggle.
I have a college student TV, which is not a real TV. Really.
You have a TV that's better than most college students. I'll give you that. You have a nice TV for a college student. But putting everything on the screen that I saw on that will be tricky.
I think by the time I finish this game, I am going to need eye surgery because I am not going to be able to see anymore.
So I guess my main thing, because I've played a couple hours of it, and I guess we'll do this review because I have questions.
Okay.
How do you feel about the new combat system? Well, not new, but kind of refined.
I like it at times, and I don't like it.
Okay, because I really enjoyed it from what I played, but I'm curious as to, what were the times that you didn't enjoy it?
The times when they have the soul talk or whatever now, where they tell you, they advise the other players that you're playing with in your team advise you what moves to use next, use a close combat or whatever. I hated it when I had already used this. I would just use them and they'd light up and be like, use this, and I'm like, well, shoot, now I can't use this because I have to wait a minute.
I'm thinking ahead of you, games. Shut up.
And I'm like, well, now I have to wait a minute to use this, and I'm not going to get the affinity from this, and it sucks.
Yeah, that would get annoying. It was weird because at first, I was like, oh, they switched out swords for guns. Oh, that kind of works out considering you don't miss as much.
They not only switched out swords for guns, they have you switching out your guns for knives and knives for shields, and you can switch your weapons in the middle of battle. I liked that.
Okay, that's nice. I know the big criticism against this game is the story.
I can see.
Please elaborate.
I got excited at first. The prologue scene where they kind of set it all up, I was like, this is written so well, I'm absolutely gonna like this. But I think the drawback is the fact that you built your character. Your character...
Thank you! That's what I said!
Yeah. And I couldn't place it until we had talked about this once, and I was like, that's it, because I don't feel connected. I don't care about the other characters as much in relation to my character.
I said the same thing with Fallout 4, because you create a character, I didn't connect with him as much. it was my big problem with Fallout 3 and kind of my problem with Fallout 4, although Fallout 4 did it better. And when I explained that, to Trayvon, it's like it just went right over his head as to why that might be the case.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing. Like, with this game, it's hard to build a character when you're just working with a template.
Yeah. It's a self-insert. Where, like...
And that can work. We've seen it work. We've seen it work in Fire Emblem. But the difference with Fire Emblem is that they built, like, they had, you created your character, but they gave that character a personality.
Yeah.
And they surrounded him with interesting characters. Now, from what I've heard about this, and I'm curious from you, it seems like your character doesn't really build a personality, and the characters around him are not that interesting.
That is actually one of the things, because, like, they have the whole choice options, where you can be like, character says something, and you're like, oh, you can do this or this.
No, Mass Effect.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the thing is, it's like Fire Emblem Awakening in a way, where no matter what choice you make, it doesn't affect the storyline. Like, the storyline is still going to continue, like, streamlined.
That's weird.
It, like, matters, it just changes, like, a bit of dialogue in some places, and then it's like, why did I have to make this choice? It doesn't...
So it's more about building personalities instead of affecting the story. Oh.
I just feel like, I don't know, choices like that just don't make me feel like the character has personality. It makes me feel like, well, this is what I feel like picking right now.
Yeah, I could see that.
This is what I think, oh, this might sound interesting for conversation.
Well, it's weird that, like, now that's considered a mark against the game because of everything that Telltale has done with their narratives.
Yeah.
Now that they've kind of, like, built, here's how you do it. And I thought Nintendo learned with Awakening because Awakening works so well because, yeah, it has situations like that, but those characters are so, like, their personalities are so, kind of endearing, insane, but likable that you kind of let it slide.
Yeah.
Whereas it sounds like with this, that's not the case.
Yeah, and I feel like, in a way, with Awakening, there's the one big choice at, like, chapter 11 or whatever, with M. And you're like, oh, shoot, which side do I choose kind of deal? And, like, you feel really pressured, and, like, I'm not getting those choices. I felt pressured about choosing what division I should be in Blade. And then I'm not good at making decisions. And I was like, oh shoot, I'm going to choose this, like, position, and what if I don't like it? They give you, like, a 20-minute spiel over, like, all 6 divisions, and you think, like, it's really important. And because it gives you the option, choose which one you, like, give us background information or just choose. Then you go to the just choose, and literally you hover over the division name, and it gives you a rundown of what it does. And I'm like, I just sat through a 20-minute thing when I could have just read this with, like, bit-sized screen. But then after you choose your division, they're like, oh, and you can change this anytime you want. Because that's the game. It's like everything you do. You choose a squad. Well, you can change what squad you want anytime you want. Choose what kind of class you want to be in. You can change your class anytime you want.
Dang. It's like Mortal Kombat X when they tried to integrate online, like, these, like, clans. And they're like, there are 5 clans and each represents something, but you can change them at any time if you'd like.
Yeah. And I'm like, if you're going to make, like, such a big deal about, like, choosing this as, like, choosing your family, like, then make someone stick with that.
Well, you also have to... Do they have a character that represents each division, like, what the division stands for, or no?
Kind of, yeah. Because, like, as you go along, it's like you'll meet someone who's, like, in the Pathfinders, and, like, you work with them, and you, like, work with people from the different divisions, and, like, bring them into your group, which I like that there's 4 people that you play with on it, like, active members, instead of just 3.
Well, that was weird. Like, I was explaining this to people, like, the difference between Xenoblade Chronicles and Xenoblade Chronicles X. I feel like the main difference for me and why it's, like, I'm not having as much fun with this one is, like, Xenoblade Chronicles, it didn't try to cram in as much. There was a lot going on at a time, but it wasn't overdoing it, A. B, you really liked all the characters. Like...
They felt real.
It's not only they felt real, but it was like, you would think they would be a stereotype, and then they would go completely against it.
And that was the one thing that we talked about a lot during that review, is how they did that.
Yeah, like you see Shulk as a hero and you think, oh, he's just gonna be the brute. No, he's like the scientist that just figured out how to use this freaking weapon of mass destruction.
Yeah.
But it was weird because like I was like just sitting there the whole time playing as my character. I was like, God, I wish Shulk was in this game.
Yeah.
I wish any of them was in this game.
And like I'm seeing people who are like trying to make their characters into Shulk, kind of.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
I made money though. Like mine turned out to be like Cole from Infamous.
I just chose favorite colors.
I don't know. I tried to make him like myself, and then like with his garb and everything, I was like, oh my God, it's Cole from Infamous. I did it. I transferred over a PlayStation character to a Nintendo game.
Yeah, I just chose pretty colors. I chose curly hair because
Your character was funny. I was just like, that's how this game should be done, and I'm an idiot.
Yes. My thing is, like, I'm bad at indecision. I stuck designing my character for probably a good hour.
You told me 3.
Okay, well, yes. Yes, 3. Well, then I had chosen a voice, because, like, they have, like, all these voice options.
Like 10 voices.
I purposely chose one of the voices that was bubblier for girls and high-pitched because it was Lissa's voice actor from Fire Emblem. And then I immediately regretted it because the voice was annoying me. I'm like, I cannot go through like 300 hours of this voice. So I had gotten up to a certain point and I like had to restart it.
I was looking so much for the guys because I was like, okay, if they put multiple voices in the game, one of them's Troy Baker. I know one of them's Troy Baker, and I was like through. I was like, none of them are Troy Baker. Damn it! I don't recognize any of these dudes, and they all sound the same.
But it was so detailed. Like I sent you a Snapchat. You chose the pupil of your character's eye.
Yeah, it was insane stuff like that. Like this and Fallout. If you're gonna do create your own characters, this and Fallout 4 need to be like the benchmarks of how you do it.
It's amazing.
This is like the right crazy way to do it. Fallout 4 is like the realistic way to do it, even though in Fallout 4 I made Medea. I couldn't help myself.
You could go into a whole spiel about what people have made in Fallout 4.
John Cena, Walter White, One Punch Man, with a mod that makes it where if you punch anything, you kill them. What else have I seen? I've seen Mike Tyson.
John Cena's still my favorite, though.
I've seen John Cena. I've seen Randy Savage, which was hilarious. Oh, what else? Just a bunch of crazy stuff I've seen in that game, but I talked about that game last week.
But yeah, I think going back to the whole storyline thing, though, is the previous game, and I noted this when I was playing it, was I don't know whether I enjoyed that I played Xenoblade Chronicles before playing X, because even though like it was made well aware beforehand that the two games were not going to be like following one after another, the games they felt more like cousins than anything else in relation to
That's
each
a good
other.
comparison.
Because in a way, I feel like if I hadn't played Xenoblade Chronicles, as much as I loved that game, if I just went into this game, I might have liked it more.
You know what? That's actually a very good point, because that's something I didn't think about, but now that you mention it, I'm probably the same boat, where if I didn't play that game and love it as much as I did, I probably would have gone into this and said, it's alright, I like it.
Yeah. And, like, I'm used to the whole, like, don't compare things, like, how going to, like, book movie adaptations, you go, like, forget about the book, just, like, focus on the movie. I tried that so much with this.
Yeah. I've talked to a lot of people who have played both, and everyone seems to be on the same page of, like, if you played Xenoblade Chronicles, it's going to be hard to separate yourself from this.
Yeah.
But the thing that I heard helps, and you know I have to ask about it,
Yeah.
is the freaking mechs.
They are really cool. Yes. I haven't had much playtime with them, because I just, like, it takes a while to get to them. For as much advertising as they did with those mechs.
I heard 20 to 40 hours.
Yeah. More if you want to do missions.
Oh, God.
But, like, it takes forever, because you get them in Chapter 9, which, like, doesn't sound like a bad thing. Except
to get there.
the chapters take so long because it is like jumping through red tape to get to each chapter. Just want to point that out.
So is it difficult to get to each chapter, or is it just long?
It's long. Like, I remember trying to get to chapter 4 is you need to explore 15% of Primordia. You need to have certain people in your active group. If anyone else is in your active group, nope. You need to have, like, this certain affinity. You need to have this. And then you get to chapter 4.
That's insane.
Then once you get to chapter 4, they're like, oh, by the way, if you start this chapter, you are no longer allowed to do this, this, and this. And the game and I'm like, okay, that's cool.
Not like any of those things could be useful. Oh, wait, they are? Great. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. But, so it takes, like, a long time. Longer than you think. But once you get there, it's pretty cool.
Okay. So, the gameplay for them, like, works fine. It's all fun.
I would say so, yeah.
I'm trying to... Is there, like, anything else you want to bring up?
I really like the music.
Okay. Thank you for reminding me about that.
I really loved music.
The music made me laugh my butt off the first time I heard it. Because I was like, I can't remember the last game where the fighting music actually had lyrics to it that are as corny and cheesy, but lovably awesome as this.
I was really thrown off at first. And
I was too.
I remember getting into New LA and, like, hearing, like, rapping and, like, DJing music, and I'm like, what is this? What did I just get myself into? And then, like, it just grew on me, and I'm like, yeah, I love this music.
And I'm just like, well, they're in New LA, I guess this makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't be out of the ordinary to be walking down the street to go get your weapons with 5 guys handing your mixtapes to them.
Yeah. The music was really good, and I think I immediately regretted, like, once I got past this is really odd phase, I really wish that I had gotten the bundle package that came with, like, the whole...
oh, I heard there was problems with that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I heard, like, apparently the files were a specific type of file that would only work on, like, 20% of computers.
Oh, never mind, then I'm glad I did not get the bundle pack.
Yeah, you can find the soundtrack easily online, I'm sure. But, yeah, it was so funny to me because, like, first Xenoblade Chronicles, which was done by, I forget the composer's name, but it's the same composer that did Kingdom Hearts, did the first one.
Yeah.
And then to go from that, which was, like, kind of more moody, epic type of soundtrack, to this, little off-throwing at first. It's like if they opened Kingdom Hearts 3 with, like, J. Cole busting down a rhyme. Like,
yeah.
It's almost, like, it's that jarring where you're just like, what in God's name is going on?
I think jarring is just the way to describe the game in its totalness.
Jarring?
Yeah.
Jarring. I like that.
Jarring and, yeah, because I was jarred by the fact that it takes place in 2054.
Yeah.
Jarred by just the skills and, like, how, like, complex. I think that adds, like, I think that's what sells the game is the skills, by the way.
Yeah, it's weird to me, like you said, it takes so long to get there.
Yeah.
But then again, it's a JRPG, so that doesn't surprise me at the same time.
It's like the whole game, you're just seeing, like, these skells around, and they're, like, you see them as you're going on missions, and, like, someone in your group has them, and you're like, oh, maybe I get to use them, and you're like, no, I do not get to use these. And then once you get the Skell, you're only, like, allowed to be on the land, because you have to get to more levels and chapters before you can take to the sky.
What?
Yeah.
I would have laughed so hard if, like, you're just walking around, it's like, oh, there's a skeleton. It's just, like, busted, I know you want me. Every time you see one, you're just like, why?
This is literally how I feel. And everyone, as you're going around the world, everyone's like, yeah, my Skell is broken. Can you fix it? Can you please pick up these parts for a Skell? And you'll, like, fight a creature, and it's, like, one of the things you pick up is fuel. Fuel for a Skell you can't use yet.
This game is literally just one big, like, you gotta get it, come on, get closer. Ooh, you almost had it, come on. Wow.
But it's interesting. Did you go into trying to buy the weaponry?
No.
They have like a Wall Street stock market thing where you can put money into, and they have like 3 different forms of payment for things. And
God.
Certain missions require you. I did not get this at first. Certain missions will require you to use a certain weapon. Where it will tell you, like, you need to use this titanium knife, and, like, you'll think, oh, I'm killing these monsters like the mission says, and it does not count because you do not have a titanium knife you have to buy for 6,000 money.
Oh, so wait, so there's 3 ways to buy weapons.
No, I don't even know if it's 3 ways. It's like there's one... I kind of, like... The thing with this game is, Chronicles, I totally went out of my way to understand the full game. This game, I'm just kind of like, can't read everything. There's a lot of information being thrown at me. It's not like tightly packed, so I'm just gonna
it's way too much. I got that vibe from playing it, but it's just like, when you say like 2 or 3 ways to buy weapons, I'm just imagining like Leonardo DiCaprio like on the side is like on the weapon shop like, here, you want to do a penny scheme? Come on, I'll give you some free weapons.
Everything. There's like all these online kiosks, and it's like this one is where you go for like the stock market of weapons. Here's where you go to buy the weapons. Once you go to buy the weapons, you can buy armory, ground gear, or Skell gear. If you made it to chapter 9, you have a Skell. And then like with missions, you get affinity missions, which are like the heart to hearts, and then you have like the actual people missions as you're walking around, and then you have like the missions on a kiosk that are rated, at least, so you know how difficult it is. It's just a lot of information from everywhere, and it gets really confusing, and you just kind of wing it.
That sounds like it would just like make my, like, as a person who 100% skates, it would make my head explode. Like,
I think this is the one game that has made me not 100% it. Like, I've gotten to the point where I'm like,
you can't.
No.
It sounds like. I got 2 more questions to ask. 1, did you do any of the online features?
I've tried.
And?
It confuses me.
Okay.
It just might be me, because after a while they force you to join squads, which you can do by yourself, with friends, or with, just online in general. And it's cool because while you're doing it, you, like, see people joining your squad, leaving your squad, and, like, Miiverse and stuff popping up, but it doesn't feel like an actual online interaction.
Okay. That's kind of the problem with a lot of Wii U games.
Yeah.
Did you play it at all? Because I know you can play it on the pad.
Oh. That is literally how I would play. And then it took me a while to realize why I've been getting lost in this world is because you're supposed to have it up on the TV while you have a map on your pad.
Okay.
But if you want to read it, have it on your pad.
Oh, God. Okay. Well, grade-wise, since you've spent the most time with this, what would you give it?
Part of me wants to give it a B simply because, like, I want to say I have hope for it because I can... Once you get into the session that you're playing of, you want to continue playing, but, like, it doesn't make me want to pick it up immediately after.
So be real with yourself.
I'd say somewhere in C's, B-.
Oh.
Maybe it's just because I had so much hope for this game, and it's not what I expected, and it's just so much to take in.
That's kind of what it sounds like. It's just like they tried to cram way too much into this.
It's a good concept. It's just not as well executed as I think a lot of people wanted.
Whereas the first game, like, that was such a surprise because of how well it was executed on all fronts. And it seems like there's a couple of fronts they dropped the ball with on this.
It was definitely, you could tell they prided themselves on their graphics. They would have, like, montages of...
Oh, yeah. The game looked great, but...
It was very pretty.
Yeah. It looked great because I guess they got sick and tired of everyone saying the first one looked like ass. So...
You mean when you could see, like, the fuzzy hair in front of their face?
Yeah. That's why, like everyone's like, should I play the 3DS version or the Wii U? I was like, 3DS. I'm like, why? The Wii one looked pretty. I was like, no, it won't.
This one is definitely pretty, if you're all about aesthetics.
Yeah, the 3DS, it's like, okay, well, this makes sense. I mean, the 3DS isn't as powerful. That's fine. But when you play it on Wii, you see, like, ooh.
Yeah. So I will amend, though, if you have not played Chronicles, I would say you'd get by this game with a B.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
you would enjoy this game.
I think that's consensus. Okay. Well, it was a lot of information. And,
Only the tip of the iceberg still.
I know. And guess what? Guess what comes next month?
A lot. A lot.
So, the tip of the iceberg might have to wait because you got, what, 3 more mountains to climb?
Okay, technically it's a lot because Fire Emblem is considered 3 mountains in itself.
Right, 3, but what else is next month? I was just talking about this with Aaron last night. I was like, my wallet is just taking a pounding next month.
The Roy Amiibo that released just yesterday.
Well, that's March.
That, I feel like a lot of it's backloaded to the end of next month, which I'm just clumping together with March at this
Far
point.
Cry Primal, Fire Emblem, Project X Zone 2, Unravel, which I completely forgot about.
I'm excited for that.
I am too! Although I'm scared because it's EA, so...
But like, the presentation...
I know, it does look cute. Street Fighter V is next month, which I also forgot about.
There's a lot.
Oof.
Just when you look at the list, it's a lot.
I know. One of my most anticipated indies is next month. Eesh. Next month's not going to be fun.
So, like, if you have a Valentine's next month...
Go see Deadpool and save yourself a lot of money.
Or that. Or try to get the Fire Emblem 3DS.
Or that. Good luck with that. So, that's it. If you want to check out our other reviews on the post-game show, you can check out YouTube at Tanooki. We have a playlist of all the reviews that we've done. You can also check out the Tanooki.com, where we post news stories in our reviews. I need to get on posting the reviews on the site because I've been slacking on that. But this will be up on the site. As always, check back on Mondays for new episodes. Trayvon's next week with Just Cause 3 and Bloodborne with all the DLC. So if he's miserable next week, don't be surprised.
Trayvon miserable?
I told him not to play Bloodborne, but he's like, no, I want to do it. I was like, fine, I'm not going to convince you. So, I'm Lehew.
I'm Paige.
And we'll see you guys in 3 weeks for...
a lot of stuff.
Hell. We get so screwed next month.
Oh, I know. I was just thinking that too.